by Cogent. And this is to create an informed community to providing free knowledge sharing with this platform. So we have two new topics today with two new wonderful speakers. And today we'll deliver about informations on mental health and improvements and recovery. So we have the first topic, which is how to improve mental health positivity. This is how to identify if one is dealing mental health issues and how to work on the same and be positive in all stages of life. And this topic will be delivered to us by Yatin Pudar, which is an article assistant at that's Earnest Youth, and he's currently pursuing Bachelor's of Commerce degree from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and doing chartered accountancy course simultaneously. So what a great individual. So this topic will now be delivered, and I'll turn over the floor to you, Atin, and please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Phil. Am I audible right now, currently, properly? Could you please
Yes.
just confirm that? Thank you so much. Thank you for such a warm introduction, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a speaker in today's webinar. So firstly, good afternoon to all the US residents and good evening to all the Indian residents present here. I'm Jatin Podam. So today I'll be speaking on how to improve mental health and be positive. So this is such an underrated topic. That is why I've chosen the topic. So the basic reason or the motive for me choosing this topic is that this topic is very less talked about and a very underrated topic in today's world, currently, be anyone's life. I have a presentation. So let me present that first, and then I'll start continuing speaking on the topic. So basically, let me start with what is mental health. So mental health is something, mental health issues. So the basic topic or the basic aim for today's webinar and the topic which I will be speaking on is how to deal with mental health issues. So I have identified four basic indicators to judge that one is facing mental health issues. The first and foremost indicator is that people do not have the energy to interact and talk with others. So this is a very basic indicator that when one is facing such issues, having such feelings that they do not want to interact with everybody else, they do not want to talk with their family or their friends or with anybody, be it the colleagues, be it the neighbors, and that really means that something is wrong with them. Wrong in not the sense that this is something to be mean or to look down upon, but this is something which is natural and can happen to anybody because this is a part and parcel of life. So coming to the second indicator, which is that they fear that they will break down in front of someone and that would be embarrassing. So when someone is facing mental health issues, so they're obviously not in a good mood. So like they are facing mood swings. Like we can somewhat say that this can also be an indicator of one being in depression. So that so they fear that when they are talking to someone or when they're going in a gathering or going to work or going to family function, so they when they talk, so they can get embarrassed. So this is another indicator which one can see to judge whether they are having mental issues currently or in the past they had mental issues, or in the future. This can also be an indicator to help judge someone. Thirdly, coming to the indicator, which is they do not have the energy to empathize with others' feelings. So this basically means is when someone is facing mental health issues, someone's mood is down, they are indifferent with other feelings of others. Like if someone else is happy or someone else is sad or someone else is facing problems, so they would not empathize with their feelings, because when someone from themselves they are not feeling good or not in a good mood, then how will the someone face or understand the issues feelings of other persons? So that is the only issue with someone who is dealing with mental health issues and has bad mental health. So coming to the fourth point, which is they want to lock themselves up alone in the room. So what does this mean? So this basically means is they do not want to interact. So this is somewhat connected to the first point itself and all the other 3 points discussed above. So the four basic indicators. So the motive of me discussing these four indicators was to make a person aware that you can judge yourself and decide upon whether you're facing mental health issues or not. So now I have discussed on indicators that you're facing mental health issues. Now, how should someone who is dealing with mental health issues improve their mental health and come back to a positive state, come back to a state where they can interact with people, they can come back to the normal life, work, and maintain a have a healthy work-life balance. So coming to the fourth slide, so there's basically there are six keys. There are six keys to deal with bad mental health. So these are very basic, simple ways, and this is something like each and every person should always inculcate in that sense in their daily habits, because like anyone can face a mental health issue at any point of life, be it you are being a student or being like you're working, or bit at any age. This is something one can face at any point of life. The first being social connection. That basically means is by staying alone and by not discussing your problems with others, you would not be able to like solve your problems, and you would not be able to come back to a normal stage of life. So when one is facing issue, they have to find someone with whom they can interact with whom they can open up freely and discuss their problems, because after discussing the problems and after getting their heart out, then only they will feel light, and they will be in a position to come back to the normal life and rejoin. Second is staying active. So what happens in this state is that they lock themselves up in a room. They only eat, or the basic disorders, the basic symptoms is like a person can have like the eating habits will change. Like they will be more hungry, or they'll be less hungry. The same thing happens with sleep. Like they would be sleeping for more hours, or a person will they will only be sleeping for 3 to 4 hours a day, and not be getting to sleep until and in spite the person trying to sleep. So one has to stay active in this state, is that one cannot lock themselves up in a room, and cannot like detach themselves from the outside world, but has to stay active, talk with people, be it their friends, be it their family, be it anyone who they feel like talking to at the stage of time, because this is such a stage where if someone is not talking and someone is not staying active, this can lead to very bad situations, or like harmful situations in future. Coming to the third point, which is managing stress. So something stress is something which is we have to deal in day-to-day life. Be it a student, so they will have stress of studies. So be it a person who is working, they will have stress of meeting deadlines, like making presentations, or be it any sort of stress. So we have to take out ways to manage stress. Stress is something that we cannot get run off, run away from. So managing stress is something. If we manage stress, this will always help us to deal and stay peacefully, and always maintain a healthy work-life balance, or being a student, maintain properly study, and also have a good personal and social life as well. So coming to the fourth point, which is brain healthy diet. So what does brain healthy diet means? So this basically means is when you are facing bad mental health issues, one will not eat properly, and one will just eat junk food, or one will eat whatever they think is right, but that will or at the end will harm us, or will have a bad impact, a negative impact on us. So we should have a proper diet, follow proper diet for all the 3 meals of a day, so that our brain works good, our body is healthy, and we're fit, so that each and every morning we're able to in the sense we're able to work properly, and be happy and be energetic. The coming to the fifth point is quality sleep. So quality sleep is something which I should emphasize on. Be you are a working person, or be you are a student, sleep is something which one should not compromise on. Because when coming to a student, when I say an experience, if you compromise in sleep, one will not be able to study properly the next day. His mind will not work properly the next day, because sleep is something. If we will not give rest to our mind, we will not be able to function properly and give 100% the next day. And if the bad sleeping pattern continues day after day, what will happen basically is, at the end, our mental health issues of our the percentage of input and the output ratio will decrease day by day, as we are going on with bad sleeping habits. And coming to the last point, which is meaning and purpose. So what does this mean? So meaning and purpose basically means that one should have a purpose and an aim in life. So one should always decide with the goals, with the aims, because if one has not decided with their goals on their aims, they will not be able to properly function and properly live a life. Because if one do not have a purpose, or one has not decided what one has to do in life, his or her life, then what will happen basically is they would be demotivated. They will not feel motivated to work towards their goals, work towards their aim. So this is something which is very important. So this is the six keys or six guides will help you to improve and deal with bad mental health. So coming to the next slide, which basically is a mental health framework from the Cornell University. So what does this framework deal with? So this framework has various components which one can work on, the society as a whole can work on, so that we can have a better mental health. So what is the first point? Just give me a minute, please. So the first point comes to foster a healthy education environment. So this basically means is one should be aware, um, the society as a whole, and each and every stakeholder of the society should foster a healthy education environment. Because if we are not fostering a healthy education environment, we would not be able to function properly. We will not be able to interact with others. So maintaining a healthy education environment is very much required, because without this we would not be able to know each other, and we will not be able to lead a purposeful and happy life at the end. Coming to second point, which is restrict access to means of suicide. So this is something which is very what you can say, a negative aspect of having a bad mental health is like bad mental health can lead to suicidal cases, and this has actually happened in real life also. So we should always try not to think of negative aspects, not to think of suicidal aspects, because if we are thinking suicidal aspects, this will at the end lead to this will not fulfill the purpose of life, and we'll just be um, we'll just be not be able to make ourselves and make our family members and friends happy if we do this. Coming to the third point, which is deliver coordinated crisis management. So this basically means is whenever one is facing a crisis, whenever one is facing a problem, so we should always try to solve that in a purposeful and tactful manner. So like we are trained, the human beings are trained in such a manner that we can find solutions to each and every problem we are facing. So we have to train our mind in such a way that we are able to that we are able to deliver properly, function properly, and give good outputs. Coming to the fourth point, which is provide mental and medical health services. So this basically means in every society, in every city, there should be someone this basically means is whenever someone is facing a mental health issues, they can go to a therapist, go to a psychiatrist, if they're not being able to discuss their problems with their family members or friends. So this can really happen in real life, that a person who is facing mental health issues, facing many problems in life, could limit depression, is not able to open up to their family members or to their friends, feeling embarrassed, probably think about himself or herself. So they can always go consult a therapist or consult a psychiatrist and take therapy sessions, discuss their problems with them. Because when one is discussing problem with third person, so they do not have the fear of getting judged themselves, because you are talking with third person, and third person will always give a right opinion depending on the situation you have expressed to that person. So a psychiatrist or therapist is a very good option when the stage of bad mental health has reached to such a point that you are not able to like eat or sleep or not do anything properly in day-to-day life. So this is also what we can say is a myth or something like a taboo, is that when one is facing like having a cold or cough, it feels everyone it is normal for everyone. But one is when we're having mental health issues, they think that what has happened to the person. So we can always open up when we're having mental health issues, because we should always think that mental health issues is something which each and every person can face in their lives, from a part and parcel of life. So there will not be a single person who has not faced such a mental health issue. We get stressed out, we get tensions. So we have to find out ways to deal with it. And when it reaches such a situation, we should always consult a psychiatrist or therapist if no other option discussed above works. Come to the next point, which is identify people in need of care. So this basically means is going to a family, or going to a friend, whoever you think is right, and whoever you think will help you in dealing. Yes, Phil, don't want to say something?
Hi, sorry to interrupt you. Can we have the presentation? I mean, like the PowerPoint in presentation mode, so it will display what you have written there for your visual aid.
Yeah, just a second, I'll do that. Hope it is okay now, Phil.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, and also yeah, if it's okay, like you can talk a little slower because there could be some network issues in your end which you cannot control. So yeah, we'd like to hear the gist very well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, Phil will do. Thank you so much, Phil. So coming to the next point of the framework, which is increasing seeking behavior. So this basically means that in a society which we are living in, so we should always have a attitude of helping others. So be it someone we know, or be it someone, be an acquaintance for us, where we have just met in a school life or college life, or be it in our office. So we always face acquaintances. So we should always have a helping attitude. That means if that person is facing problems, and if you are experiencing, or you are observing that that the person is facing issues, that they are having a mental health issue, or they so their mood is not good, so they're not able to give the 100% in their work, or be in their studies. So we should always have a help seeking attitude. Once we can go to the person and ask whether they're fine, whether they're able to, whether they're able to function properly, and whether they require any help from our side, which we provide. So that will always be a good gesture for the other person who is facing or facing a bad day, or who is facing mental health issues, basically. And coming to the last point, which is promote life skills and resilience. So this basically is a gist of all the points discussed in the framework. So this is something which each and every person should inculcate in their lives, that we should be resilient. That basically means is if we are seeing someone in front of ourselves who is having a bad day, or who is not in a good mood, we should discuss with them by like whenever so many people are not around, so that they do not feel embarrassed, and they can open up to you and discuss the problem. So this basically is a mental health framework. So this was the first part of the session where I discussed about mental health. So the indicators of bad mental health. So how we can improve our mental health and the mental health framework overall. I'll just take a pause here and ask if anyone has any queries or something in the chat box if you want to ask, or if they want to unmute themselves and ask. So that would be, I'll be open to any questions and discuss any issues everyone is facing in the real life right now. Satyam or Saradam or Thaman, if you want to, if you would like to ask anything.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful discussion, Jatin. Now, okay. So yeah, we'll open for like Q&A, or we can share insights regarding the topic. Anyone would like to let's okay. Your calling earlier uh is not here anymore. But yeah, anyone from the attendees would like to share their insights regarding the topic, and would like to ask questions to the speaker?
So I would like to,
Yes, go ahead, Kaushal.
yes. So it was a very informative session. The presentation was very good. I also would like to give my insight. Like this is a very burning issue in India, mental health. It's not taken proper care of in India. So I would just like to say the presentation was brilliant, and I got to know more about mental health awareness and all.
Thank you so much, Kaushal. That really means a lot for your advice and feedback. So I'll just continue with the second part of my presentation. Um, So second part of my presentation basically deals with positivity and be positive. So this is something normal, but something which I would like to focus on. So with discussing about positivity, I'll also like focus on the word karma and manifestation. So because I feel positivity, karma, and manifestation of these three things are connected to each other. So talking about positivity, be someone at any point of life should remain positive, because every time what happens is when we have a positive attitude and when we think positively about ourselves, about our goals, aims, so what will happen basically is the positive thinking will manifest in reality. So positivity and manifestation, they go hand in hand. So when we think positive and our attitude will automatically change towards the work we're doing or towards the study so we are doing on a daily basis, and that the output and the aim will manifest in reality on their own. And after manifestation comes karma. So what basically is karma? Karma basically is a karma is a let me explain karma in simple words. So karma is something that when we do a good to someone, when we are when we positive and we have a positive attitude towards with others, and we deal, be if we are kind to others, at the end something or the other good will happen to us at the end. So basically this basically means is when if we think negative and if we think ill or evil for someone else, at the end what will happen is some of the other way which we cannot expect, will not be able to know. We always will have to face the consequence of thinking negative or doing wrong to some other person. So positivity, manifestation, and karma are these three things which I strongly believe in, and which each and every person should follow, that they should have a positive attitude, because positive attitude will lead to manifestation and manifestation of the goals, of the aims in real life. And after that what will happen basically is, if you're doing good, if you're kind to other people, good things will happen to us automatically at the end. And this will help us leading and living a purposeful life. So let me share an instance, like personal instance of me last term, is that in my CE inter IPCC exams. I from the start of my tuitions manifested that I have to get an all in rank. I had not expected all in rank 3, but I had aimed for an all in rank. So being positive will at the end lead to the manifestation. So if we have an attitude, what will happen is in our day-to-day progress and our day-to-day work which we are doing, be it our classes or be it our self-study or be it a revision of these subjects of which you have studied, the attitude will be changed in that way, that our goals will be manifested in reality. So this is something which I feel everyone should follow. So be it the studies, being a student, or be it in their work life, that they should always maintain goals. That what will happen is they will be able to fulfill the deadlines. They will be able to perform well, and they will be able to give better outputs at the end. And they will so progress in a good way, and they will be able to move faster in the corporate ladder, getting promotions earlier because of their good work culture, work habit, and given more outputs. So at this point I would like to share with you 3 quotes. So just presenting my screen. So I think these 3 quotes will sum up with all the discussion which I have done till now. First quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson says basically that what lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. So this basically means that we should always try to understand our inner strength. That we should not think about the past or not think about the future, but we should think about the inner strength, and on basis of the inner strength, we should form our goals, form our aims, and think positive. So I think that will get manifested in reality. Coming to the second point by someone anonymous, that staying positive does not mean everything will turn out okay. Rather, it means it will be okay no matter how things turn out. So this is something like many people question that, but by staying positive, how can you assure that everything will happen good to us. So by staying positive, we cannot assure, no assurance can be given that everything will happen good to us. But that basically means that our state of mind will be good in each and every situation, be it bad or be it good for us. Because and be it success or be it failure, if we stay positive, we'll be able to move forward, and at the end, we'll be able to success even after multiple failures. So this is what attitude is required. So this is what is this is the inner meaning of being positive. Coming to the last quote by Mary Loretum, that basically is optimism is a happiness magnet. If you stay positive, good things and good people will be drawn to you. So this basically means if you're positive, kind people will attract you. So so the aura around you, or the aura of because of the positive attitude will attract people, good people to you. So you will have a conversation with people. So you will be having a purpose in life, and you also at the end will think of living. Think of leaving, think of fulfilling your aims, moving ahead, reaching successes. And if you have reached to a certain height, then you will think of moving ahead even more. So this is what basically optimism and positivity is all about. So that was all about the two parts about my topic. If anyone has any questions or want to discuss any issue or any instance of the life, I am open to that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jatin, for your insights. So, just wanted to understand how you got interested in this topic. Is it from your childhood you were interested in, or is it some incident or something that made you develop more interest into this?
Yes, Srini. So to answer your question, so this is something which I have been following since the start of my life. So like being in we being I'm a student currently. So what happens basically, like when we study, we get demotivated very easily. Seeing the long syllabus or the large syllabus, being so many classes which we have to do, having a packed schedule. So what I followed throughout my studies and throughout my school life and college life, along with in my CA exams, that to be positive, because I felt that being positive will I will manifest my goals, and I'll be able to fulfill and be successful. So that was the only reason of me selecting this topic and getting attracted to this topic.
Yeah, thank you.
That is wonderful. All right. And yeah, further questions regarding did you divide this topics, Jatin, or this is the last topic that you will be sharing?
This is all for today. I just wanted to stay on to speak on two topics, mental health and positivity, and I was able to speak on it. So
That's
all
perfect.
from my
Definitely.
side.
Yes, mental health and positivity, like they are linked together. So if you have um balanced mental state, then definitely positivity just comes along like a free flow. So yeah, for the attendees, would you like to share your insights as well and ask questions before we get to the next topic, which will heighten the informations that we have? Okay. And I believe there's no one to connect yet, but definitely if you wish to get in touch with Yatin offline, you can just reach him through LinkedIn, or you can get in touch with the Let Us Talk It team to share his information. So thank you so much, Yatin, for delivering the discussion for your topic today. It was really informative and timely. Like everything is just recovering right now, and then yes, we definitely need positivity, as everything will go back to normal sooner. All right. Thank you so much. Now, going to the next topic for today. And she has been a speaker with us before, and now she's back for more to deliver wonderful discussions in connection still to mental health as well. And so we have here the topic to be discussed, which is how to shine in a bullying environment. We all know everywhere there is a bullying environment. So this, like we have mind coach Shafaq, who will definitely give us the skills to apply when challenged by bullying behavior of difficult individuals and to outshine them despite experiencing difficult times. So Mind Coach Safak is a very well-known individual over social media, and she has a background in psychology and is the founder of the Shafak Effect, podcast host, keynote speaker, and social media influencer. She is a natural empath and have developed an enhanced skill of feeling the other person's energy, and that is through their emotions, verbal and nonverbal behavior, attitudes, and uses this to create a natural way to heal them from to heal from their foundation. So deprogramming and reprogramming their subconscious mind, which is the specialty of our next speaker. So I'd like to turn over the table to Mind Coach Shafa. Please take over.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Phil, for the lovely introduction. Thank you for inviting me again, actually. It's quite an interesting panel. So especially talking about what I would like to talk about, I think it's a problem, as you rightly mentioned. You can actually find it in all forms of life, wherever personal, private, professional, at schools, at your career, everywhere you would be faced with this kind of behavior. There's two forms of different reactions to that. One is reactive behavior. The other one is a pro-reactive behavior. Reactive behavior is just something when we face a threat, we react to that. So two ways of that is reacting. One way is to react in an aggressive way, in an aggressive manner, in the same way how the other person reacts to us. And the other way would be maybe show fear, which is actually the goal or the desired outcome or the desired effect, which the person who's actually in the bullying position would hope to receive. And that is often a problem which comes with a lot of more things. It comes with empowering the other person as well. So fear is often triggered. It's not a bad thing to have, by the way. Fear is something which is a natural factor of defense. It says so many ways. It's like facing a lion somewhere in middle of African jungle. And if you didn't have fear at all because of the lion, you would just stand there and be eaten by the lion. So a fear factor is something which is a defense mechanism, and when it's been used properly, it can actually save our lives because we would start thinking rationally to defend ourselves, to safeguard ourselves. But when it's overpowering, which often comes from certain lobes, it's the temporal lobe in our brain, the amygdala. It looks like a little almond kind of shaped form. That is the defense mechanism that creates fear, it creates anxiety, it creates depression, all sorts of different forms of this factor. And when it overtakes a person to a point where it's not defensive no more, but it creates an overpowering emotion where we cannot act without it, then it becomes a problem. So especially towards bullying behavior, a lot of victims become fearful. They don't know what to do. Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me?
Yes, very
okay.
clear. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So a lot of victims become helpless. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to act. So the normal general reaction of the majority of people is towards bullying behavior. It's fear. And that is where the outcome, the desired outcome of the bullier is achieved, that you act in fear. And when you're acting in fear of somebody, then you make a lot of mistakes because you're not thinking rationally no more. You are actually becoming anxious. Anxiety then causes a lot of overthinking. It then causes things to go wrong because you're actually not clearly analyzing what is exactly happening. So good sample of that is, I mean, in my practice, what I also do, but before I put it on, the reason why I wanted to talk about that in general is bullying behavior. It's not just associated to a person who is doing you just simple harm. It also spreads to a world economical issue. So you could put it to prejudice. You can put it to class systems. You can put it to caste systems, especially in India. You can put it to colorism. You can put it to racism, in all sorts of forms, hierarchical structure, especially in the business world. You would see that as well. If somebody wanted to overpower somebody else, then he would project a certain overpowerment, certain bullying behavior if that person wanted to project fear, that is a huge problem. So what I've done, for instance, I will give you a sample. My son was suffering from a teacher who happened to be Caucasian English, and he was complaining to me coming home. Was I think it was about year 8. He had his education in a grammar school, and this person was an English teacher, and my son kept coming home and complaining about him, that he keeps picking him over things. He keeps making mockery about him in front of others. And then my son started feeling embarrassed because of certain things. And he became fearful, generally fearful didn't know what to do. So over time, it went on for quite a few months. I was observing that. I started then coaching him, guiding him. And the way how I guided him was, okay, you need to put your head down, but use your brain. Try to overcome your emotions. Yes, they will always be there. And try to think rationally. Okay, what is he picking up? What is he picking you up on? First of all, it was his homework, the way how he writes, the way how he presents. He may have forgotten something, so he picks up on that. He wasn't present enough during the lesson, so he picked up on that. So all these little things, being attentive, doing his work, presenting, these things he was picking up on, because that's what my son wasn't doing at that time. He wasn't doing it well enough. And because he was the only actually brown looking person, different skin color compared to his class fellows, he felt that he was being picked on. And every time somebody else had done something wrong, nobody would be accused apart from him. So he came to the conclusion that it was his skin color, it was due to racism probably. And because the teacher was also of pigmented background, however you want to call it, he had this tendency to be racist or prejudiced. So I taught my son, okay, I know it's going to be, you have to be patient, but I'm going to teach you something which will help you in the long run. Do the other teachers like you? He said, yes. Who's your favorite teacher? He told me a name. I said, okay, you need to do one thing. In front of your favorite teacher, every time you go in his lesson, try to excel. Everything you do, you excel, so your teacher will notice that, your favorite teacher. The same thing I want you to do is, when you go into your English class, I want you to be there on time, every time, even before the time, even if it's 5 minutes, every class, I want you to be there. I want you to prepare for your work before you get in there, so nothing is left. Everything what he said, I want you to be attentive. I want you to write it down, and I want you to do some extra homework to present. So if he's picking on you, you would have the answer straight away. So my son was first quite reluctant about that because he found it hard work. But I said to him, look, I'm not saying it will help you straight away, but it will help you over time. But make sure you do these 2 things in front of these two teachers. One's who you're the favorite student, and the other one who's picking on you. So he started doing that. He followed my advice, and it went over for about 8 to 9 months until he received his next grades results. So he kept coming home and said, "Mum, he picked on me again," and so on. But the picking went less and less and less in general, although he tried, but it went less because he didn't have much excuses left no more to pick on him. So over time, when it was time to come to the grades, his grade card came out, which was excellent. Then I was invited to the parents' evening where you would talk to all the teachers. And my son said, "Mom, what is going to happen? He's still not right. He's still giving me a hard time. It's less than before, but he's still giving me a hard time and I don't feel comfortable." I said, "Son, just wait and see." So we picked out the grade card. We were talking to all the other teachers. His favorite teacher was just in awe of him all the time. She was just really happy with all his results. Suddenly, this other teacher who we're talking about came along, and he happened to stand next to my son's favorite teacher. While my son's favorite teacher was overviewing his grades, the other teacher came about and stand next to him and tried to find, which I could observe with my eyes, tried to find on something which he could pick up on. But he went through his grade card and he couldn't find anything. It was literally very obvious that he wanted to look at something. So suddenly I said to my son looked at me, I looked at him back, and I just said, "Just be patient," quietly. So his favorite teacher automatically didn't have to say anything, started praising him. "Ash, you've done so well. You've done so well. I'm so proud of you. Look at this. You've excelled here. You've even excelled in English." That teacher was quiet. Suddenly, because this other teacher was praising him, he then had to put up a facade and say something as well. "Oh, you haven't done bad then. I thought I'd find something, but well done." So he walked away. And my son was so happy. So the moral of this story is that sometimes you have to defeat the bully with their own guns. So what the bully is trying to find, they're trying to find your weakness in any form of way. And it might take a lot of time for you to overcome this, because inside you're still boiling. It's like a fight between being angry, but at the same time being fearful as well of the other person. So you're fighting a battle between your ego and your superego. And once you actually control both of these things and start thinking rationally, okay, instead of being led by my emotions, what is the situation here? What can I do? How can I actually fight this without fighting for it? Let them be defeated by their own guns. And that's how you come forward. So any bully, I'm not saying it would work everywhere, it depends on the situation as well. But in most cases, if you try that, you excel to a point where the other person cannot find any mistakes anymore. And then find a balance from potentially a person of power who is more fond of you. Let them fight your battle, and you wouldn't have to do much. So that is my presentation for today. I know it was short, but I like to keep it very precise. What are your thoughts about that? Everybody quiet again.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
That was, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Srini.
No, actually, yeah, it was very good. I mean, like you narrating the personal experiences as well. It's really a problem that has to be solved, especially how the young minds react and how we have to reassure. Yeah, thanks for the good sharing all the information.
You're very welcome. I mean, it's not just about the young mind. You have to understand our mind works, whether it's young or old, our mind works very similar. Fear is the element which lies in all of us. I mean, you could go to any form of violence, for instance, as well. You know, if you wanted to take the bullying behavior to an extreme, you would find fear in the same way. People react very similar, wherever they're small or wherever they're very young or wherever they're quite experienced and more mature. It depends on your reaction to that. So once you start controlling your emotions, and you bear in mind, for a young mind to control their emotions, it's very, very difficult. It's even more difficult than for an adult brain, because we are more developed. We can understand the world in a much better way. Their lobes are still developing, their brain cells are still developing, their neurons are still developing, because their understanding is not as vast as the adult's brain. So it takes a lot more for them to control emotion than it would take it for an adult. But the process is exactly the same. Once you master your emotions, once you master your fear factor, once you master your anxiety level, and I'm not saying they wouldn't be inside you, it's about how to master and control them, you will actually succeed. Because then you start thinking of solutions rather than the problem. And this is my main focus point for my coaching as well. When I apply life coaching to my client, I always say to them, whatever struggle they come to me with, what is the solution? You tell me, what can you see to resolve this problem? Because the problem will always be there. Whether it's a long-term problem, short-term problem, problems will always be there. We have to actually realize that every time we step out, we even step a foot onto the floor, we will face a problem, some form of challenge. We can't actually escape from that. We cannot, even if we were to go in the wildest, I don't know, in a deserted island, we would still face problems, because some shark will suddenly follow us when we're swimming and we would have to develop some, some skills to survive. So everywhere we go, whatever we do, we would have to face challenge. And the best thing to do so is to be able to manage these and relay your focus towards the solution rather than the problem itself, because the problem brings emotions. And I'm not saying you can't have emotions, have them inside you, but at the same time, let your brain think rationally and let them create maps inside. How do I get from A to B to C? If A to B to C doesn't work, then I will find A to B to D. If A to B to D doesn't work, then I will find A to B to E, and so on. You need to be able to do that. Did you hear me?
No, very well explained. I think, yeah, you are very precise, and it's a great hearing from you on this topic. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So yes, this was from me. Would you like to say something, Phil?
Yeah. Well, let's. There is a question here, actually. From Satya. How does one rationalize thoughts and emotions when one enter into debates?
It's the same way. A debate is also comes with a threat mechanism. As I said, fear factor is a defense and threat mechanism which actually safeguards us as long as it's used in the right way. So a debate is something where somebody is verbally attacking us, not literally attacking us, but with something which we don't agree with. So we would like to defend ourselves in a way. But in the same way, how we actually control our emotions in actions, in physical actions or behavior of others, a debate is a verbal behavior. It's a verbal conversation which you can hold. So at that time, if somebody is coming across with something which we may not agree or understand or haven't got the knowledge about, instead of being defensive about that with our emotions, why did you say that? Or I didn't like that. Try to reframe your questions. Say, okay, I was wondering, you picked up on this and this point. Could you explain what did you mean by that? And why did you make this statement? Does that answer your question?
And actually, he had a follow-up for that question. Yeah.
Of course, of course. He can
Especially,
talk for himself if he would like to.
yes, if you could open your microphone, Tatya. She'd love to hear you talk.
Would you like to talk, Satya? You can also talk in Hindi. I do understand various languages, even though I speak English.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, I think Satya's question was answered. Okay.
Lovely. Anybody else would like to ask questions?
Yeah, how does
I mean, I have a.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, not a
No,
problem.
I think I already asked. So no, I was just, I mean, I was just trying to know what is that you do. I mean, like as part of your, current career or job. What is that you do? And I want more information about that.
Of course, of course. I mean, I have various jobs besides being a mind coach as well. So I've been working in the mental health sector from the last 11 years. I've worked literally in every field you could think of, from psychiatric disorders to general mental health disorders to adolescents, minors, children, babies. I've worked with autism disorder as well. I've worked with suicidal cases. I've worked in the criminal justice system too. I've worked with social services. I've worked with alongside solicitors, alongside the court as well. I've also worked for the NCA, National Crime Agency. So there's a vast majority of understanding which I have in this field, or where I could actually pick up from every part something and absorb it. And then additionally to that, sorry, I have to drink some water. It's so dry in here. In addition to that, what I've also done is, and you wouldn't discover that until you would know that how you come out of this. I have faced a lot of, I'm sorry, must be the talking. I've faced a lot of kind of challenges in my life. And the only way to find out how you would react to challenges is going through them. You wouldn't know otherwise. Anybody can talk. You can bring up a theory, but you wouldn't know how to apply the theory properly in your own life unless you go through that. So everything I talk about, or most of the things I talk about, are based on research, knowledge, and own experiences. So they're merged with everything. And they're merged in my own experiences. The outcome, how I actually come out of that, have actually then been backed up by all the knowledge which I've gained academically as well. So everything which I've done is been backed up by research. So who I am is, I have generated generally acquired a knowledge of life experiences and academic knowledge and professional experiences through people. So what I do is I've become a life coach. I'm a certified international life coach now. I've done a psychology degree as well. So besides my experiences in the mental health sector, which was practically done, and my personal experiences, I've also acquired the academic experiences with that and the qualifications which were needed to do so. So that's what I do. But what I wanted to focus on with my clients is, I've seen the post-pandemic crisis happening, generally the pandemic as well. And a lot of people have actually lost their social skills. They've lost their social identity. They've lost their self-identity. Simple things of how to talk, to engage with each other, our natural skills, God-given skills, have been lost. So I wanted to focus on programming and reprogramming the mind, means rediscovering yourself, healing from your foundation, which a lot of people don't understand, that every time they're faced with something, they go back to the actual trauma, whatever trauma they've suffered with, wherever it's a breakup, wherever it's a childhood trauma, wherever it's suffering from some form of death or loss, some form of trauma. Almost everybody has suffered. So I go to the grips of that and build them back up from the foundation, so they would be able to find themselves, the real self, not the conditioned self, which our environment, our caregivers, our upbringing has formed us, but the real self, to bring back inner peace and to actually make them inside happy. So that is my main mission, and that's what I practice, and that's quite well received at the moment. Besides that, I thought I wouldn't be happy just to have a normal practice somewhere down the road in the village and having my couple of clients. I wanted to bring out my message to the world. I just wanted to bring out my message to everyone out there who would be listening to my content and can take something out of that. Because one thing you have to notice, or you may have noticed it, especially researchers, academic people of academic background, when they present something, it's often very dry with a lot of terms used normal people can't understand. So what I wanted to do is, I've seen one side, the fun world, which has no knowledge at all, no background at all. It's just fun at all. It's just fun only. And I've seen the other world, which is research-based, knowledge-based, but it's very dry. So I wanted to merge both of these worlds together and bring them into a wider audience, which is why I started promoting my business last year on social media. It's only been just over a year. And it was so well received by people that my aim to bring it to everyone and make them take something out of that and apply it to their own own life and create a better environment for themselves, working well. I feel blessed with that. So this is my work besides my work. I'm a life coach and psychologist, and also a global influencer. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that sounds great, actually. Glad that you're trying to transform the lives.
I mean, even if I help, if I can actually impact a small amount of people, I have now achieved just within a year over 24,500 followers on TikTok, for instance. And TikTok might sound a bit too playful, but if you look at the actual essence of that, it's such a good platform for especially people of professional background to bring their messages across, to bring educational messages across, to bring something really impactful across, that you can actually reach a really, really vast audience. And it seems to be well received, which is nice to see, because that's what I want to achieve. If one person can hear something, they will spread it to 10 other people or 100 other people. You know, that's how it works. And that's what I want to achieve. If I can make the world a slight better place, one person at a time, then my mission is fulfilled.
Yeah.
Any
Sounds
other
very
questions?
interesting.
Say it again.
Yeah, sounds really very interesting. Yeah, what you do. It's really perfect.
Thank you. It's very rewarding as well. You know, I feel blessed with that, to have this kind of knowledge. I mean, because I speak various languages as well, one of them is German too. I've actually learned, and because I've always been very solution focused, I've actually learned that I can understand a lot of various different cultural behavioral differences as well. So if somebody is acting in the same way, having anxiety from one culture, somebody else is from a different culture would act a very different way or react a very different way. And a lot of people don't understand that. They can't figure it out. But this is the reason. With a language, you don't just understand or learn words. You actually learn the culture, you learn the country, you learn the behavioral differences, you learn so much that it just actually opens your horizon. It expands your world.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Well, yeah. Yadin, our speaker. Yeah, the first speaker. I mean, would you like to add context, or you have thoughts, or would you like to ask a question? Like, Shafak will be very willing to answer that.
Firstly, Shafak, everything you spoke about was totally fantastic. I could got to know many new things and learned many new things throughout the session about the 30 minutes which you had, and I even watched all the sessions which you have taken earlier in YouTube. Each and every session which you have taken
I'm
has
sorry, you're
made
breaking
me
up.
learn new points. Is my voice audible right now?
Yes, it was breaking up like a robot.
Okay, like I was saying that your each and every session which you have taken and today's session, I got to learn and got to know many new things throughout the session. Like the topic which you chose for each and every session is totally unique, and I love the way you told that your aim is to just bring change in how many number of people you can bring change. That is one thing which I really admire and got inspired from the session, the speech which you have told today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, I feel blessed with that. You know, it's a privilege to have. If you are, I just find to myself, if you are able to understand people, generally to understand the mind, because I don't see that as something of power. I see that as a privilege and responsibility. That, you know, the higher power has given me something which I can understand and I can grab into. And if I can come into a room and a person straight away, stranger, I'm a stranger to them, can trust me with their deepest thoughts and their history and their struggles, it's a big privilege to have. And if you can then analyze these things in a way without involving your own emotions into that, or reducing involving your own emotions into that, that's a big gift. And I feel really blessed with that.
Very true. I would like to ask you one question. Just like whenever someone comes to who is facing depression, like when you like talking about your work, if someone facing depression and having suicidal thoughts comes to you, so how do you deal with them? Like, could you just explain in just if possible?
So if somebody, did you say if somebody, sorry, because your voice is not very clear, if somebody is facing a challenging question, did you say?
No, like having suicidal thoughts and facing depression.
Sorry, to facing depression.
Yeah.
It depends on the situation itself, because depression is something, depending on how long it takes as well, how long a person is suffering with depression. You know, if someone started suffering with depression, because depression just doesn't just develop, it doesn't just come, you open your eyes and one morning and it's just there. It doesn't happen like this. It follows with a pattern of things which occur over time, over and over again. And everything actually starts with fear and stress. Everything of these conditions, unless they're genetic or unless they're acquired by an injury or something, they actually start with fear and stress. So once you start controlling your fear and stress, then you can control the pattern, which can lead up to depression as well. But if somebody comes with depression to me, then I have to first assess them on the length of their illness itself, of their condition. Then I have to assess them on their own individual background as well, and on their own thought process, because the same way, like I explained about the languages, that you learn a lot more, you also learn about behavioral adaptations. So if I can see this person is acting a certain way, then I would automatically, or speaking a certain way, I would automatically assess the situation and adapt to that person in the first maybe 10 minutes or so to make them comfortable with me. So it's not something which I'm putting up, but I can automatically adapt to their own behavior so they don't feel unfamiliar with what is happening. They feel like I'm one of them. And that's how they start opening up. So depression is something which you have to deal with very sensitively and step by step in finding out the root cause, their own strength of depression, their understanding of depression, their acknowledgement of depression, which is very important. Because first of all, you need to find out whether they've been pushed to come to a session or they would like to make a change, because that is the first acknowledgement of someone's condition.
Well, true. That really answered the question. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Would you like to ask anything else?
That's all. Like the everything in the session, all my questions were answered. The basic or the whole idea about the therapy and everything, how to deal in a bullying environment, everything was answered. So no other questions from my side.
That's fantastic. Anybody else would like to ask? We've got a very small panel today, or is it large? I can't see.
Yeah, some of them has may have to attend some other activities that they have to do. So
Right.
attendees was quite a few earlier, and they already left. But yeah, not a problem. So I think you have taken care of the questions even in their mind, like before they have even like was thinking of the question. It was already acknowledged. Well, thank you so much. So I know we have extended a little minutes of the time schedule, but really appreciate your time and sharing your experience and thoughts through this webinar, Mind Coach.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me again. I'm
So-
glad it's been well received.
Yes, definitely. So if we have you'll be very welcome to this platform for further webinars as well. Like your topics are interesting. Like how do you deliver them is really wonderful.
Thank you very much. Yes, I would just like to say before I go then, yes, I would really appreciate if you could look at my brand, which I've created, the Shafak Effect. If you're more interested in the way how I present, like I'm doing it today, I hold podcasts. So I've got my own podcast show, which I started. I've already interviewed people around the world, which I'm continuing to do. And I'm growing my YouTube channel now, as I've done it with LinkedIn and TikTok as well. So everything is on the brand of the Shafak Effect. If you put it on Google, I'm not sure about other countries, but in the UK, Google has taken it on their first page, which seems like it's been in high demand here. And you would be able to see all my social media sites all across. And yes, just have a look on my YouTube channel, as I said, watch the podcast, which you find interesting, and leave a comment there how you feel about that. But you can get a real feel in how I engage with people. I just like to be very natural and organic, because I want the other person to feel comfortable, and not just the other person. I want the audience to feel comfortable. You know, it shouldn't be an environment where people feel this is up there or this person is up there and I'm sitting down there and I have to be quiet. That's not what it's about. We need to learn from each other. We need to absorb. And the best way to absorb information is when you can relate to that.
True. Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, we'll take a look. Have the team go. I'm sorry. Go on that platform of yours, and then and if in any case they're really, I'm sure all are interesting, but if that caught the attention, we might have you on the webinar platform again.
Wonderful.
that.
Yes, it's a joy. I'd love to come again.
All right, that's perfect. So I guess we can call it a day. Yes, thank you so much for those who have watched over Facebook and YouTube as well for this live session for today. We thank the speakers for bringing value to this platform and sharing their knowledge and experience to the community, like giving back to them. Well, we are expecting and we are requesting for you to join us again next Wednesday at the same time for you to get gist of a 1 hour session with two wonderful topics and two seasoned and experienced speakers to deliver the message. So see you again next time, and thanks for your time today. You take care as always.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Yatin.